Hello Cherries fans, welcome back to another edition of Sparky's Stats, although today it's going to be more like Sparky's Tactics show. We're going to be looking at our new goal kick routine that we've been pulling off so far this season, and also a little bit of play that I feel I want to see more of from Bournemouth to try and take advantage of our system going up against the majority of back fours in the division. Now, before we go any further, do just want to remind you that this show is sponsored by Aquashine Exteriors, professional exterior cleaning services across Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole. Please do look in the description below for their social media, other links, and there is a phone number down there as well for a free quotation. Now, today I'm going to be showing off my tactics board that I found online and giving you some ideas as to what I think we need to be doing more of and show off what we've been doing in our goal kicks as well. Now, for starters, this is just the basic setup of what Man City are doing here on the left-hand side and what a lot of the other top teams are doing. Basically, all the top six, apart from Tottenham, are setting up in some variation of this 4-4-3-3. And obviously, here's our 5-4-1 defensively. And you know, in our goal kick scenarios, certainly without doing anything special, and certainly when we're defending, this is roughly what it's going to look like in terms of Man City pressing up into more of a 2-3-5, going up very man for man. And this is why I feel as though Parker has switched to a back five this season. Obviously, there needs to be a certain level of trust in his defenders that maybe he doesn't have enough of to play in a back four, but it does mean that there's less reliance on shifting players, shifting man marking between players. Your midfielders don't have to get involved in the back line quite as much. Ignore Jefferson Lerner playing in the back line for the first two games. But let me have a look at the goal kick situations. So if the ball is with Travers on after the ball's gone out of play here, what we're finding so far is that we've got what will probably be Senesi eventually coming into this left side spot, Mepham on the right. You've got Smith is getting chalk on his boots on the right hand side, and Kelly is doing the same on the left hand side, playing incredibly wide in this position. I mean, we're basically turning into a back four at goal kicks, and what that allows is Zamora to push up on this side. You've got Christie pushing up on this side, and Pearson and Cook are still staying relatively deep in order to offer passing angles in this sort of square pattern. What's happening most of the time is the ball is being kicked over to Kelly on the left-hand side here. It could go right, but the idea is that because we've essentially created a spare man on the left-hand side, when Moore comes over here, we end up with four men on this left-hand side here, as opposed to if Moore goes on to the right-hand side, we only have the three here. So it is creating more of an overload by coming down onto this left-hand side. And when Kelly receives the ball here, you'll probably find, certainly we did against Man City, is that Haaland is immediately going to press the ball. But what he's going to do is trying to block the passing angle to Cook. Pearson is being marked by Gundogan, and the ball is essentially forced back over to Kelly on this left-hand side. This would be Senesi, it was Lerma against City. He then is barged down by Mahrez, and because there are very few options left, City are doing their job in forcing us to play long. Now, the thing is that in playing long, we actually have developed a relatively decent amount of pressure on this side of the pitch. As soon as this goes long up to Moore, we have Zamora, as will be the case when he's fit. We would have Christie or Solanke. You're then probably going to want Pearson to try and peel off his marker as quickly as possible to try and get into a situation where wherever this ball falls behind Moore into sort of this spot here, you've either got Zamora or you've got Pearson picking that up, whether he chests that down or whether it's a loss of ball as it is. The other thing, obviously, is Tavernier, in the 5 seconds of play that has occurred since the goal kick, will also have pulled wide here and brought another man across. And so his run then becomes one where he'll want to funnel himself. Oh, no, I don't want that. I want this. Where he'll want to then arc his run beyond the defender, and you'll want Solanke or whoever is, if I can pick that out properly, Solanke is also wanting to make that run beyond the back line in case the ball gets flicked on. It hasn't worked to create as great opportunities yet, but considering how good a lot of the best teams are at pressing and how difficult it will be to pass out, by taking advantage of Moore and the strength that he has, and then obviously you've probably ended up with Solanke also doing that role if necessary, and then you have Christie bombing on. Hopefully Solanke's not too long before he's back. This is just another way of us trying to create opportunities to get up the pitch with some level of security at the back by not playing it about too much, because we don't want to make those silly mistakes like we have done in the Premier League in the past, but also taking advantage of the strengths that we have in our attacks. And look at Tavernier's pace, his ability to dribble with the ball, same with Solanke, Moore's height, just creating as much pressure in this one area and then relieve that and push forward as quickly as possible. That is actually kind of what I would like to see us do a lot more of in open play as well. This is the example. This example is roughly the setup when the clearance is made to create one of the chances that we did against Aston Villa. The two important things here is that this is in somewhat open play. I can't remember whether it was from a goal kick after a bit passing around or just the ball went loose at some point and we got back hold of it. But I think it's Travers that essentially makes the clearance here. But we still have a very much a back four system. Zamora has pushed on incredibly high, and when this ball goes long and eventually lands at Moore, you've got Smith still essentially in a right back position halfway through into his own half. So Mora's right up here and is one of the closest players to Moore when he receives the ball. Tavernier's already pulled off from the right hand side quite a bit. And this passage of play goes as such. It drops to Solanke, who pretty much immediately passes it to Zamora. Solanke pushes on and is therefore occupied by Matty Cash, who would have wanted to look after Zamora, but has to sort of shift on. McGinn, rather than trying to block a forward run from Zamora, gambles on the fact that he's going to pass this backwards to whether it be Pearson, possibly Kelly has pulled up, and Zamora bombs forward with the ball. Moore and Solanke are now looking at forward runs. Kept hold of the wrong symbol again. I'm new to this, so bear with me. Moore and Solanke are again looking at forward runs here. So the centre-backs are occupied by the two strikers, at which point Zamora pushes forward, doesn't really get tracked enough, and the pass ends up coming through to Tavernier, who has again pulled across Digne. And now we have an absolutely shed load of space on the right-hand side here, and that is exactly where Adam Smith pops up. In fact, rather than just picking up in this area outside of the danger, the pass actually reaches Adam Smith inside the box, at which point the entire line obviously has been dragged backwards. And if I get rid of these lines, it's in the end it's Moore that makes the darting run to try and get on the end of the ball. I would have liked to have seen Solanke also be in here, but he wasn't. It was just Moore that reaches this point, and Smith plays a first time cross into the box, and Moore is very close to getting on the end of it. This is actually not too dissimilar from the goal kicks in trying to use Moore's strength and holding the ball up, create the pocket of pressure in that area, try and pull as many opposition players into that position, and that leaves Smith in this instance with acres of space to run into. And that I feel as though Smith is still quite a more defensively minded fullback. He loves to bomb on, but also plays a lot of his passes backwards. Stacey has more athleticism to bomb up and down the pitch, but I do think Fredericks is maybe the key to this in terms of that maybe he isn't the greatest defensively, but I think he probably has a bit more end product about him. Certainly picked off 3 assists is I think his best assisting season since he's been in the Prem for West Ham. But that is something that I think I think Bournemouth will try and do more of, but I think it's something I want to see more of Bournemouth's play in generating that pressure and then relieving it by and giving ourselves options on one side. That can work vice versa as well. You could have Moore come over to the right-hand side over here, and you'd have Stacey or Fredericks here, you'd have Tavernier here, and then the space would become available. I'm using the wrong tool again. The space will become available on the left-hand side here for Zamora to bomb on. So that's the benefit of the back five and those wing backs, because you're probably not going to find this attacking midfielder tracking back very well, is going to end up with a lot of free space, and you need to take advantage of that. And certainly in this Aston Villa example, should have scored. In other games where we even had less chances than we did against Villa, it's even more important that we block those off. But anyway, that's some examples and something that Bournemouth are definitely trying to do more of this season with the new formation and with starting more in every game, taking advantage of his strengths against some maybe defenses that aren't used to going up against a player like Kiefer Moore. Anyway, I hope that long video, you enjoyed that. A little bit of delve into some small tactical elements of what Bournemouth are trying to do, or at least what I think Bournemouth are trying to do. If you think that's a load of rubbish, please let me know in the comments. But if you have enjoyed it, do give it a thumbs up. It really does help. And please stay tuned. I'm looking forward to bringing more of these out if I find anything else, any other tidbits of stats or tactics that we pull together. And yeah, I hope you look forward to the next video, and I'll see you next time. Up the cherries.